local, ladies and gentlemen. So thankful you guys are here with us. Today we have with us Andrew Miller. He is an entrepreneur. He has his own business. He's done quite a few different stuff. So thank you guys for being here. How are you doing today, Andrew?
Doing
Good.
great.
Good
Thanks for having me.
Good, good. So what have you been getting into?
A lot of work and just living the life.
Living the American dream, right?
Absolutely.
So what are you doing for work right now?
That's a very complicated question to ask me.
Okay, so
But mostly tree work is what I'm doing. At least a few days a week.
okay.
And then I work around home a lot with our Airbnb lodges and stuff. And
How many Airbnbs do you have?
we have 2.
Okay, how are they doing for you?
Good.
Good. You still have the rentals?
Yeah, we have a few rentals
across
as well.
Do you have the 2 across the street from where I used to live at, right? You have the 2 where I used to live at. I used to
Yeah, I
live
have
in
those
one.
2.
You have those 2.
And then I got an Airbnb in the basement of that. So
Okay, what kind of Airbnbs in the basement?
It's a really cool setup. It's like a mine theme.
Okay.
You go through a cave to get into the bedroom, and there's like a cave shower and
Okay.
all carved rocks and stuff. So it was a fun project.
Where did you come up with the theme for it?
I'm a Pinterest man. I go on Pinterest and just all the time I'm looking for ideas.
Okay.
And it's like some people go on Instagram, I go on Pinterest.
Okay, I definitely spend more time on Instagram. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like. Did you get caught in the short reels of Instagram yet?
Yeah. So there's a lot of good ideas on Instagram as well.
Mhm.
That especially if you like, I have a business page on Instagram to where I watch what I follow.
Mm-hmm.
That way I can filter my feed with just good ideas.
Right.
For mostly.
Yeah, and we have a business page. I sell trailers for Daniel. We have a business page as well, and I've noticed the suggestions for the business pages are way healthier than the suggestions for a personal page.
Okay, I didn't.
Kind of weird.
Yeah, it probably kind of gravitates towards the interest that you're already in or whatever.
The algorithm is crazy on these social media.
Yeah.
If you think about it, it's like, TikTok is the best example. I mean, anybody can go viral right now.
I see. I'm not into TikTok, but yeah.
You're not?
No.
Oh my goodness. I have so many more hours in my day if I was on TikTok.
I just have never gotten started with TikTok.
Do you do you watch the short reels on Instagram?
Yeah, I some. But you can really get into wasting a lot of time on it because they just keep,
And what you watch and like, more and more of it pops up.
Yeah.
That's what happens to me. So it's interesting. It's fun. Keeps you entertaining.
Yeah.
Not productive.
Yeah.
Not productive at all. Yeah, so back to Airbnbs. And then you have a cowboy themed Airbnb too, right?
Yeah, so everything around our place is Western cowboy themed.
Okay.
And so we have animals and people come for the animals a lot. But yeah, the other Airbnb has more like pastures around it and some horses and stuff. Yeah.
And did you make all of the cave, all that stuff by yourself?
That's my weakness probably is doing everything myself.
Okay.
Because I can only work so fast and so many hours.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope at some point I can outsource some of my work. But yeah, I do most everything myself.
Mm-hmm.
I carve the rocks. I put up the beams and stuff.
Okay.
I get the beams. I cut the trees. I get them milled.
Wow.
All the steps
mm-hmm.
pretty much are done by me. So except for sawing them and all that. But yeah, I'm a visionary. And sometimes I wish I could delegate a little bit more than I do. But.
Absolutely, but I'm sure with time, it sounds like it's something you're aware of. So with time, you'll get there. What made you get into rentals and Airbnbs and stuff like that?
So years ago, I started gaining an interest in doing real estate and things, that create passive income, and got myself into a whole heap of trouble and lost a ton of money doing that.
Okay.
But I still ended up with this property that I'm developing now through that ordeal, which I'm very thankful for. It was a great blessing out of all that trouble. But so, it's probably 2008 or somewhere in there is when I
Okay.
I was getting into these, and
Nice. And when I started, you had a roofing business at one point,
yeah,
right?
yeah, I've done a little bit of everything.
What happened to the roofing business?
So what actually happened to the roofing business? I was doing great with installing metal roofs, and I was doing some compliment roofing and all that, but I wanted something to do in the wintertime, so I started this concrete countertop business.
Okay.
And I got so passionate and so into that
Mm-hmm.
that I just went full time into that. And then at some point, I kind of figured out that I'm not created to work inside a shop all day,
Right.
every day.
Right.
And so I had to make some arrangements there, and I eventually kind of sold the business off to my brother,
Okay.
my younger brother, which I still have a kind of like a royalty interest in the
Mm-hmm.
business. I didn't really sell it to him. We made a deal to where I just make a little bit off of every
Okay.
item that go through the shop, and then I stay plugged in. And I'm still the visionary for the business,
Mm-hmm.
and I still know why I started it and what my goals were, and I'm as fired up about that business right now than I am about anything.
Okay. Okay. So you were able to basically he does the work.
Yeah.
And you get a small percentage or royalty or whatever that happens, and that's the way that you want to do it.
Yeah.
That's part of the passive income idea, right?
Yeah. I've been really blessed with that, with how that all worked out, and I was able to tap into online selling, which just took our business to the next level. And for years I've wanted to do that. I knew that, selling online was the key to success in this day and age.
Mm-hmm.
And finally got it figured out. And so we started selling a lot and shipping all over the United States.
Okay, where are you selling it on?
Etsy.
Etsy.
Yeah.
And so is that linked to Shopify?
I don't think so. They have their own
Okay.
their own base, and you can do your own marketing on Etsy. Everything.
Can you boost or promote a product on Etsy? You can.
That's the big thing that helped us.
Okay. Yeah. So did you try the Facebook? Did you try marketing on Facebook?
Facebook doesn't like me.
They don't? Okay.
So I've done so many things on Facebook to try to get around Facebook Marketplace to sell my products on Facebook Marketplace, and they keep flagging me.
Okay.
And because they can kind of tell that I'm promoting a business product, not just a personal product.
Right.
And so they've demonetized pretty much all my accounts. I've tried to set up another account, and it just keeps getting demonetized to where I can't do any transactions on it.
Gotcha.
Which I don't know. I mean, I really should hire somebody that knows what they're doing to get me going on Facebook. Google has used me good.
Okay.
I've gotten a good amount of work through my website by doing Google AdWords and all that that stuff. So
that's stuff that I'm learning more about, and I like to learn a lot more. Oh, Ben has the shirt business in the back here. We were talking about how to promote that. Is Etsy a good area for him to start for shirts?
Yeah, Etsy is really a great place.
Okay.
Now I don't know as much. Like I've thought about creating another Etsy shop for small items, because the stuff that we sell on Etsy is, anywhere from $1,500 to $7,000 items, and so for us to go and promote, we can spend $20 a day on advertising or whatever because of the amount of stuff that we sell. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how that would work if you're selling smaller.
Sure. I see what you're saying. You have to have a lot more transactions.
But I know that people are doing it and they're successful with it. So I would definitely recommend it. I just don't know. I'd have to play with it to figure out how.
That's something that we'll have to talk with Ben about that after this podcast to see what we can do. Yeah. So you essentially you no longer work in the Luxcrete. What was it called? Luxcrete.
Yeah.
Oh, you no longer work in that, and then you started doing tree work, right?
Yeah.
What made you get into tree work?
I have always wanted to do tree work since I was a teenager, and I never was able to get into it. I remember I bought the books and was trying to learn how to do knots and climbing
Right. Yeah.
rigging and all that. But I never was able to seemingly get it going or work for somebody. So uh, I worked for Hirschberg Tree Service for a while, and then I kind of started doing my own. And I started buying a lot of walnut trees and cutting them into great lumber and selling the lumber. And I was doing that all last year. But this year I'm actually doing more tree work. I got a lot of walnut trees just standing waiting to be harvested because the price is down a little bit. So I'm doing a lot of tree work to fill in. But I love climbing. I love how it keeps me fit and in shape. And
absolutely, it seems kind of fun. I don't know. It seems a little bit scary. I'm used to roots, I'm not used to trees.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, you have to learn to trust your equipment. Like I remember being on a roof and wearing like a safety harness or whatever, and then and you had never done any of this before.
Right.
You go out and you kind of lean over the edge of the house and let that thing hold you there. That's the scariest thing, especially if you're on a 3 or 4 story house.
Yeah.
You almost cannot get yourself. The rope's real thick and everything's real sturdy, but just getting to trust your equipment is the first step to success in tree work.
Yeah, well, but you're going up high up in the trees.
Yeah, we're 70, 80 feet. And then cutting branches, and then the whole thing's like this, and I just get a big rush.
I'm glad somebody likes it. I need to try it. I want to try it one day. I'm going to try it.
Just climb a tree and set up a hammock up there.
No, I'll come up with you in a chop one day. I'll learn that way. I'm not swinging a hammock up there. Absolutely not. No.
I do that sometimes Sunday afternoons. I'll go way up in a tree, put up a hammock, and just sit there and doodle.
I am crazy, but no. Do it. So you're into rodeoing as well, or you're just your kids?
So we kind of created a culture of cowboy stuff, and that was started when my kids were still young. I decided, you know what, I want some kind of a culture within my family.
Right.
Something that we're after, something that we're looking forward to doing on weekends or different events. And, I thought, the horse thing would be really cool. I've always loved cowboys and reading about cowboys and watching cowboy movies and all that. And so we started getting into that, creating that culture around our place. And everything just kind of went from there. We done some things with horses to where we did some horsemanship training and that kind of thing, and then we went on into the more rough stock sports and riding bulls, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a great group of people to be around, and
it's definitely a lot of fun. How are your sons doing? How are your kids doing in bull rides?
They love it, and they go to every event that they can, and there's limited amount of stuff that for like junior rodeos and stuff. But it also it's a little hard for me. I have a wife and 7 kids, so I have to keep things moving, and for us to just continually tear off and go 4 hours to a rodeo, and it gets a little hard sometimes. So we do more of the local stuff local stuff as we can. And
you guys wear quite a few practice pens. You guys still going to the practice pens? Yeah. Yep. That's good.
That's a lot of fun. That's almost more fun than an actual rodeo. Yeah.
I see.
A great group of guys to hang around and help each other get better in riding bulls.
Absolutely. Yeah. Do you ride at all?
A few. I've written a few, and my biggest problem is when I'm climbing trees, and I rode a bull the night before. I wish I hadn't rode a bull because I get so sore. You land all the wrong ways and get jagged around, and then you're trying to navigate for the next few days at work, and I have to keep working to provide for my family and keep things running. So that's probably the biggest. I would just love to ride bulls, So, but I have kind of looked at, if I can help my children, and I look at my family as I'm raising up warriors.
Right.
And so I want them to develop and learn to fight and learn to work through problems and think quick and witty and that kind of thing. So that's why I'm just trying to develop my family and help them to have fun.
Do any of them have any interest in mixed martial arts?
We have we haven't really gotten into that.
Okay.
I've thought about karate and some of that kind of stuff, but I've never really gotten into it.
Okay. There's a great gym in Millersburg here.
I see.
That Jose, you met Jose out here. Have you seen Jose cutting hair?
Yeah.
At the end, he's the coach there.
Okay.
So that's I did a little bit of training with them.
Yeah.
Very, very nice gym.
That's cool. Anything like that keeps you physically fit and keeps you engaged in life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you learn that there's the bill, like if a bill comes in and you're not sure how you are going to pay it, you learn it's not choking you. Every evening you go to the gym, you probably get choked out a few times.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to navigate and figure out how to handle that problem.
Yeah.
It isn't a life or death situation.
Yep. Life's going to be rough, so you might as well get tough.
Yep. That's the only way to do it.
And to practice and be in tune with that. Just that's the way that's my philosophy about life is, stay in the game every day and practice and then take your breaks. You got to rest.
Oh yeah.
And recuperate and rejuvenate and yeah. So how do you rejuvenate?
I typically don't, and then I break something, and then I have to. That's what I broke my foot, so now I'm on 6 to 8 month recovery time for my foot. So roofing is out the door. So
what happened?
Doing a roof. It rained the day before, but I wanted to finish this job. No, it was rained that day. So I found at 1:30 quit. So about 2 of them there, 2:30 up on the roof, and I seen it's wet a little bit. So I put new metal on. My top piece is wet. Put that on, and I think I'm fine. And I forget as I'm screwing off the metal panels that I'm stepping onto the piece that it had rained on the night before. Step on it.
Off you went. Yep, and I mean, that fast.
Yep, landed on my heels.
Right on a porch or something?
Sidewalk.
Sidewalk. Oh my.
I immediately knew it was broken. I tried to get back up on the roof. I could not. And so I just hobbled around for 2-3 hours and finally went to the emergency room, and they were like, well, we have the worst case scenario for you here. And I was like, oh, cool. I sprained an ankle. And they were like, no, you broke your heel. It's the second hardest bone to heal in your body.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So now I'm done roofing. I think I'm going to completely stay out of the construction industry. And I think I'm going to go sell trailers for Daniel.
Oh, you were saying, yeah.
I think that's what I'm going to do. And just learn a new trade.
Yeah. Yeah. It keeps life interesting, and yeah.
It does. And I have a family as well, so I can't sit back 6 to 8 months and let my foot recover. Yeah. I have to go to work somehow, and Daniel needed help, and so I'm helping him. And it's fun. It's actually a lot of fun. I enjoy sales a lot. So do you go out a lot, or is it mostly there, like people stop in? I have a lot, and we post ads on Facebook every day. I see. And then stories on our business page, stuff like that. Just engage people. The amount of people that actually show up and support a startup lot like that is crazy. Yeah. I see some people do like funny reels, like that's doing something crazy or funny, and then people remember it. Sometimes it looks kind of corny or whatever, and you're like, oh, that's kind of stupid. But you know what? They're just getting their image out there so people remember. And it's similar to Grant Cardone theory: no publicity is bad publicity. Yeah. And that's what works. Even if you screw up out there, you can fix it later. Yep. But at least you're out there. Absolutely. And that's like the first few days I wasn't really posting ads and stuff because when you want to post the Facebook ad on your personal page, because they don't allow business pages to make marketplace ads. So you have to do it on your personal page so all of your friends and your family see this. So it was a hurdle to get over. Just start posting, and then all of a sudden I was like, well, this is where how my bills are going to get paid. Yeah. Me sitting at the lot here, being like, I don't want to post is not going to get people here. Just like, and I started just posting as much as I wanted to. Now I have all kinds of people there. So I think in life, you have to step out, and people are gonna hate on you for whatever reason. Yeah. You can't be even Jesus had haters. Yeah. Yeah. And what was have you posted some stuff that you thought might be like
controversial or
the ads.
the ads?
Oh, because it's rent to own.
Okay.
And everybody hates rent to own ad. So I knew people were going to be mad. But now a lot of the people that initially were upset want to buy a trailer. So I don't, it just goes to show you,
Yeah.
And I found when I committed to it, like when I fully committed to selling trailers, people were a lot more accepting of it. Because they realized that the way I spoke about it, instead of saying I'm thinking of doing this, I was like, I'm selling trailers now, this is what I'm going to do. It doesn't allow them to be like, are you sure you want to do that? Because you're already doing it. So they can either look like they're hating on you or they can support you. And I think that's, I don't know, something I learned was when I talk about something new to just fully go into it, not, I think I might do this, I think I might do that.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Is when you're early in business, you're still not in full belief about what you're doing, maybe, or whatever.
Yep.
But after you're in 10 years, it's like, well, are you buying or not?
Yeah, absolutely. and I being young in it, I don't have that yet.
Yeah.
But I'll develop it.
Yeah. Every business I've ever had, I went through a phase like that. And I remember Ruben Graber told me that one time. He had a tarp shop, and so he told me about how that works. Like after you're in for 20 years or whatever, you have a completely different posture about sales than you did, the first 6 months, because you were just trying to, you were almost sweating to that person might back out.
Oh yeah. And you never sell that way.
Yeah.
Henry taught me that is you can never sell when you need a sale. It's almost never possible to make a sale when you have the sale.
Yeah.
When you don't need that sale, 9 times out of 10 you'll get it. So also we have people that are helping us with my broken foot and stuff like that. Oh, we've been very blessed with people, bringing food, stuff like that. So I was like, this gives me a 2-3 week gap. I can either in these 2 to 3 weeks not try and sell a lot of trailers, or I can push it and have a 6-7 week gap. And now I no longer have the pressure of having to make every sale. Because if I wait until I have to sell a trailer because I need the money or whatever, now I won't make a sale because I have to have that.
Yeah.
Now when the customer shows up, I'll be saying whatever I have to get him to buy a trailer.
Yeah.
Whereas the other way, you're like, I like to sell you the trailer. I don't know if it works out, cool. If it doesn't work out, cool. This is what we have to offer. I'm not going to try and change heaven and earth for you to buy this trailer.
Yeah. What area are you guys?
Mansfield.
Yeah.
We have a lot of people coming from Cleveland, all other areas. With it being a new lot, we don't have that many enclosed trailers yet.
Okay.
We had 4 which sold, so now we're ready to go on to the next ones. Enclosed sell fast.
Yeah.
Everybody wants an enclosed trailer.
Yeah. So, building a brand, is that something that you're really into, like building brands?
Yes, obviously with the podcast, Daniel was teaching me a lot on that. It's like, because when I started out with the podcast, I wanted to have everybody and anybody on that I possibly could. I didn't care what their views were, whether they aligned with the local. The local obviously is representing the local of where we are. I didn't care who he was. I just want anybody on. And then Daniel explained to me, we have to do stuff on brand. We have to build a brand, so that people know the local represents the local people of Millersburg. We don't just say that. We actually have local people from Millersburg on. So I'm learning a lot. Are you into that?
Yeah, that's where, like, Lux Creek, I can't get away from the name Lux Creek anymore, because we've so made it a part of everything. My truck's Lux Creek, everything at our place is Lux Creek Ranch, and so, like, that can be a really good thing or a bad thing if you don't want to keep doing what you're doing or whatever. You've really gotten yourself branded, with it. But so we absolutely love what we do, and I have to be a little careful with the tree work. I don't market or advertise that really that much because I don't want to create another avenue, another brand that's going to conflict with Lux Creek.
Right.
And so that's kind of the struggle with branding. I'm a big promoter, brander. Like I'll just put it out there, and I don't care what people think, whether they like it or don't. Some people like it, and some people don't like it. What you're doing, what you're building, right. How you're, kind of putting yourself out there. It's for attention. It's for marketing.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize it's like when you're promoting something, if you're a good promoter, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's how you feel about the product.
Yeah.
Like, not saying you don't feel that way about Lux Creek, but I'm just saying, like, controversy sells at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So you're going to say or do stuff in a way to get people to look at it.
Yeah.
They need to view it. Negatively, positively, either way, people need to see it.
I have to absolutely 100% believe in what I'm selling in order for me. I've seen people, like you said, that they're just good at selling things. They'll just pick something like clocks or whatever. So I'm going to just start, hammering clocks and putting them out there. And they do really well with it. Mm-hmm. But for me, like I like to really, I'm an artist, creator. Mm-hmm. And so I'm really in tune with everything that we're doing. Okay. And I believe in it 100%.
I'm very different. I can get behind any product.
I see.
If like roofing, whatever it is, as long as something about that product gets my attention, uh-huh. I can sell it. For this time, I'm not gonna be able to sell a tumbler because I don't care about it. But a trailer, the rent to own, uh-huh. that immediately caught my attention. For whatever reason, that was something that caught my attention.
So you don't offer financing through like banks and stuff? No. You do rent to own? I see.
We only do rent to own. The other thing is there's no. The other thing that stood out to me with rent to own is there's no credit check. Mm-hmm. So anybody can buy it. So from a salesman's perspective, my pool of customers opened up drastically. And the third thing was we offer very low monthly payments. Okay, so now you have an even bigger audience. That's the way that I work when it comes to me selling stuff. That's what makes it complicated is if I find good stuff about products, I can sell, like, I'm willing to sell almost anything. Uh-huh. Whereas for me to build a brand for myself personally is harder because I can do multiple different stuff.
Yeah, that's the danger with branding. Like for instance, Grant Cardone 10X, he can't get away from 10X because it's, everything's all over 10X.
If he tried to, he couldn't.
He couldn't.
No,
yeah,
he's done.
So you're almost like married to your brand at that point.
Absolutely, and divorces are never good.
Yeah, so like I have no regrets about the branding and whatever that we've done. I've thought about like changing the name a little bit just for a more broad overall, like the ranch or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, no, it's fine.
Oh yeah,
and it's what people know, and so we're just gonna build that way for however long we want to build.
Yeah, hopefully retire, right?
Yeah,
that'll be your retirement. Are you gonna push the horses? Are you gonna go any further with that?
I don't have a huge interest in like raising horses, but I love watching horses and just being around horses and riding trail rides and stuff like that. And I like farming. You always got to feature animals and you got to make sure there's hay in the barn for the winter. And I like that kind of keeps me accountable lifestyle where we can't just go on vacation whenever we want to.
Right.
We have to figure out how to make things work because we got so many animals.
Hey guys, we are super excited about our next guest. The local legend, nobody but Eli Yoder. You might have seen him on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, or you might be one of his 1.5 million subscribers. We are super grateful for having the opportunity to sit down with him and speak to him, and he gave us the exclusive. Find out on YouTube on our next episode.
Yeah, that's different. Different for me. I enjoy coming home and I'm home.
No dogs.
No.
That's
No
one thing
dogs.
that I can't figure out how society can live with so many dogs. I see dogs everywhere.
I think Daniel will probably adopt all of them. But,
But dogs you have to take care of, and to me they seem like a yeah. I guess people like them for a companion, where I don't like dogs.
Myself personally, I am glad people like them. I don't want to like them.
I don't like any pets actually. So I don't like any pets that don't do something to earn their stay or do something. If a dog was a guard dog or was a cattle dog or something to where they were useful, then yes, they're not a pet anymore. They're a farm animal or a useful animal. I'm not gonna sit here and take care of something that just is useless to me. That's just me.
My reason, I guess why I don't like it, I don't like stuff touching me at all times. That's why I don't like dogs and cats. I'm good with, I have a little kid. He runs over and plays around my feet way plenty.
Yeah. I'd rather have a kid that I'm raising up. That
absolutely. I mean, I'd rather have a kid than most stuff.
Yeah.
Kids are pretty cool.
Yeah, I got 7 of them, and they keep me on my toes. But I love it. Like, it's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't change it for anything.
I don't think we're having another one.
Oh, come on.
Oh, I don't know.
You need 7.
Daniel. No, he said no.
No.
So Lawrence, that's my son, extremely into everything. At 10 months old, walking, running, getting into everything. And most days I feel like there's probably no way that I could handle 2 of them.
You do adopt to a different lifestyle when you have more kids. That's one thing that I've noticed. It's no longer about keeping everything perfectly manicured and because you're raising a family now, and if you're going to be offended by every little thing that breaks, you're going to want those kids out of there the fastest way. So you might as well adjust to just enjoying the kids and learning and growing together and raising your own best friends or whatever.
I like that.
Yeah.
I might have to adopt that. I want Lawrence to be a little badass.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he'll be a little. I think that's.
You don't want him to be a wussy,
No. But I want him to be a doctor.
Okay.
Because I don't want him to be a construction worker. I've
broken a doctor.
So many bones.
So I'm going to tell you one thing about children.
What?
Is you can kind of graft them into a certain culture, but they will kind of figure out their own way of what they want to do. But my kids are all a part of like the rodeoing and and if I had chosen a different path for them years ago, they would all be playing ball or basketball or whatever area I would have kind of taken them into. They would be. Now we do some hunting and fishing, a little bit of that. I don't hunt as much as I used to, but anything outdoors, adventurous like that, I'm very much okay with, and I love it. But yeah, the other day I was just thinking about, whatever field you take or culture you take your family into, that's kind of what their interests are going to be growing up.
I see.
And so you do, as a dad, you do have control of that.
Well, he'll be a doctor in that case. How many doctor people do you know? Daniel, do you know Dr. People? I need phone number.
Yeah.
They're going to be friends now. That's that works.
Yeah, that's how it works.
My main thing is I don't want him in construction. I don't want him.
I really don't want my kids in construction either, because it's such a brutal life.
It is. There is no life. You don't have a life.
You don't.
Because you see people who are 30 years old looking like they're 50.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really a hard life.
But on the other side, it is a fun life.
Mm-hmm.
You won't find any other life that is as fulfilling as getting up early in the morning, going to work all day, and you make more money than most of the people around you. So it's always as a young kid, oh, I'm making more money than these guys are, I'm working harder than they are, and then eventually it catches up to you. But as a young man, it is a fulfilling life.
I did it since I was from 15 to 18 or something like that. I did a lot of construction, and man, I hated it.
Okay, but it's also the only thing I was ever really good at.
I see.
Is it made sense to me from, I'd say, by the end of the second month, it made sense to me.
I think the part that I hated was being having no flexibility. I mean, just on the work truck in the morning, gone all day, 5 days a week, and then you got your weekends off. I'm not wired that way.
Okay.
Like when I was doing roofing, I had a hard time having crews or whatever because I'm such a here and there guy, and it's not good to run or have a crew if you're that way. Like your workers are going to get irritated.
Right.
But so I eventually went into just working by myself, even doing roofing. I'd do metal layovers. And so that got me the flexibility I wanted. If I wanted a day off, I took a day off. If I wanted to go home early, I went home early. And I wasn't affecting a whole truckload of guys.
Right.
And so now, even with tree work and everything that I do, I have come to a place where I'm so flexible. Like, I'm probably going to do that job Monday, and then it ends up being Wednesday because I got so many other things that I'm running around doing. It's just I'm so flexible, and I absolutely thrive in that. But I see, like, my oldest son, he's a little bit more, he likes his routine every day. So we all have a different way.
Yeah, I love having set days to go to work, set hours I don't care about, but just set days that I go to work. Like, I don't want to come into work on, let's say I'm working 6 days a week. I don't want the Wednesday to be off. I want it to be 6 days. If I intend on leaving work at 3 o'clock, that is when we leave the job. That's always always, and I don't care if I have to be there 2 hours early because yesterday we didn't quite get it done. It's just, I like when stuff is set, I like for that to be the time that we do it in that exact time manner. And that's changed more for me over time because with a wife and a kid, you don't have that liberty as much.
Yeah.
Because for whatever, my wife doesn't really care that much about being on time to everything. That's not the way she was brought up. She was raised in, if the supper is at 6 and you're there at 6:30 and they haven't started eating, you were on time. I was raised if supper is at 6 and you aren't there at 5:45, you're late.
Okay.
And so but we've grown together where we're only late by 5-10 minutes now. But that's how I operate. The most terrible thing for me is to plan to start a job on a Tuesday and start it on Wednesday.
I see it.
Like when I get to the job, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't want to go right. Rain days were always horrible.
Yeah.
Because I had to go back and restart. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
But I wish I was more like that because it'd be fun. You'd probably have more fun than I do.
So I'm living like what I used to dream about. But now when you're actually there, it's like, okay, what's next? I want something to look forward to or gravitate into it. Can I make life better, even better somehow? So, and not every day is just great out there. I have my days when I'm nose to the grindstone and all that. But for the most part,
it sounds like a fun life. Like even for me, even to just think about it, like it does sound like a lot of fun. I think, and I'm sure eventually I'll get there. With time, as you get older, I feel like that stuff, it no longer matters as much that you start everything on the day, on the hour that you plan on starting it.
I just start making a list of like things I want to get done because I have a habit of having too many loose ends open. That's a big problem I have. And so I got to make a list, and those things stay on the list till they're done. And I don't like the whole long list.
Right.
So I start like focusing on actually getting some things done and out of the way. And I'm looking at my life a little bit more that way, I think, to where I want to, okay, what happens if you have too many loose ends? all of a sudden you have way too much backlog that you're trying to catch up. So you're playing to catch up. So now you don't have that flexibility anymore.
Right.
You're always trying to, and that happens sometimes with like the Airbnbs. I start a lot of fun projects, but all of a sudden I see, 2 years later, there's a lot of maintenance that needs to come along with some of this stuff. Now I'm trying to do maintenance plus keep going with things, and I'm just trying not to enslave my life again. I've done that so many times doing taxidermy work. I did taxidermy work on the side, and I remember I enslaved myself so bad with that. I was getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning before I went to work, doing projects that had to be done. And I just learned that I hate when something has to be done by a certain time.
See, if I don't have a certain time it has to be done by, it'll never get done.
Yeah.
Me, ever. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah. It's actually a good thing when you're pressured with deadlines. It's a good thing. Like sometimes I get to a point where I get pressured with deadlines at our place.
Right.
Things have to get done, and I actually like that. That gets things done.
Right.
Like sometimes we'll get a last minute booking or whatever, and we're like, okay, we got to get these things done before these people check in or whatever. And so otherwise we'd have probably been sitting around doing nothing, and we finally get some things done or whatever. So that's a good thing, is to have that healthy pressure to get results and get your stuff done.
My problem is I'll kill myself to make sure that it gets delivered. So that is where it gets unhealthy, is when you go way too far above and beyond. Like I don't mind going on almost no sleep, but then once it's done, then I expect time to recuperate. So it makes it go a lot like this. Whereas if you're able to try and have it done by the deadline, then you're not enslaving yourself like that.
Yeah. So my philosophy has always been to try to give a little bit more than what you're getting paid for in service. And I sometimes have to be reminded about that again, because I get lazy, and just do just enough to get things.
Yeah, because if you don't go above and beyond, nobody wants to have you back.
Well, you don't get your 5-star reviews. You don't get your, good reviews. So, yeah, you get those reality checks in life from time to time. Where
reality checks are tough.
Yeah, and that's why we keep training hard, even in the off days. It's because of how life is hard, and you need to become a warrior in life.
Yep, you have to, because you can either stay laying down when you get knocked over, or you can get back up.
Yeah. It's a mindset that you've created within yourself and how you're going to react.
You have to get back up every time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes a little bit longer than other times.
Yeah. Sometimes you're knocked down and you need a little break.
Yep.
And next time, but just, know that, you're going to keep going.
Right. I think from myself, something that I've learned very recently is I don't take enough time to, when I have setbacks, to analyze it before I go forward. My initial response is just get up and immediately attack it again. And I think it was Daniel or Ben was telling me the other day, sometimes you have to analyze it and then go forward again, because otherwise you're just gonna get hurt. Whatever's gonna happen. If you attack it the exact same way, it will continue having the same results.
Yeah, and if you keep practicing, like take for instance, little David, he kept killing these bears and lions and stuff out there, and while he was doing his sheep stuff. What would have happened if he wouldn't have had his mindset that he had when he went over to where Goliath was at? All these other guys, they all had wimped out.
Yeah.
And David was trained up. He was trained current.
He was ready to go.
So he didn't even doubt. Like, he looked at the giant like, why not?
Yep, let's go.
And so that's how that mindset works. If you keep training yourself in that way through life, don't get knocked 10 feet back and think, I'm never going there again or whatever. Look at the whole deal and see, how can I train to not get affected like that or not get hit like that.
Not have that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'll give you another good illustration.
Yeah.
So when you look at Benaniah, I forget where you read it, but Benaniah was he was David's top military general.
Okay.
But before he was there, there's a story about he went down into this snowy cave to kill a lion with a stick. It had nothing but like a stick or something.
Okay.
And you know, he was doing this to train himself to fight and to become a warrior. And why else would you have done it? You know,
no reason to.
No reason to.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I could kill a lion with a stick one of these days.
Go.
You want to go with me?
Go ride a bull.
I've already done that.
You've done that,
I
yeah.
used the rodeo.
Yeah.
It's not my cup of tea.
And you don't have to do it like as a career or whatever.
Yeah, I could still I know I could still comfortably get on the back, and I don't think I could ride. I know I could comfortably get on the back and leave.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I'm afraid to get on. It's just not something that really intrigues me or whatever.
Yeah.
It was when I rodeoed. I had a lot of buddies that were rodeoing, so it was a lot of fun. Now I don't really have any friends that rodeo anymore, so I don't really know. You know, and I was never good enough to. Nothing was gonna come out of it.
Yeah. Well, I'll take you on a tree chop or something where there's like a big tree down and it's all bent and twisted and torqued.
I'll do
and
that.
you got to figure out how am I going to navigate my way through here without getting killed.
Oh yeah, I'll do that. I enjoy it.
That's enjoyable.
If it's already down, I did logging for a while. I enjoy logging.
Uh-huh.
I get very bored on the skidder, but just logging.
Oh, I hate skidders.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate skidders.
Okay.
They terrify me.
For real?
Yeah.
I can whip in any of those little skidders around. I just get bored.
That is probably the thing I'm most scared about is skidding. Machinery is something that just scares the crap out of me.
I love machinery. Oh, like a skidder, I mean, you just put it in drive, hold the gas pedal flat, you go flying through the woods.
Once I get used to a piece of equipment, I'm used to okay. I can skid with a dozer a lot easier.
Okay.
I grew up doing a lot more of that. But I get on that skidder and you got a clutch and you got to shift and this thing's going downhill and
Well, you don't have to clutch your skidder. You don't have to clutch it at all.
Well,
you just pop it in, hit the gas, and then whoom.
I think it was between gears or something.
Oh yeah, if you get caught in
somewhere
between gears, or if you get caught, if you push up against stall out, then you have to clutch out and then clutch back in.
On tractors and skidders is where I pretty much lost my life already, and I hate them.
I played a skidder against trees a few times, but for whatever reason that doesn't scare me.
Oh man, I've been in places where I knew I was going to roll that skidder.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing was like almost rolled over, and then it came back in. I was so flipping scared.
But on a skidder, a dozer is a lot more comforting from that aspect. You almost can't roll a dozer.
Yeah, I've been on a hillside where it's frozen, where it went sideways a little bit, but even that you just turn a little bit. But yeah, it's about knowing your equipment. Once you know your equipment, I think you could do what you need to do. But for some reason, I struggle with equipment. I can climb and go all over trees with just the bare basics. I'll climb without hardly anything on. I'll just up a rope or slide down a rope or swing around, whatever I need to do, and I'm totally comfortable. But that's how we're all made different. I guess.
Right.
Like some people are good with equipment, other people are more physically athletic or whatever. And
I've never been extremely athletic. Like I'll get around. It's not like I'm unathletic. It's just it's not what I'm good at. I can still work. Like I was very good at roofing, but machinery also made more sense because my dad loved machinery.
I see.
So I grew up around machinery my entire life.
So you grew up Amish, like
Swords and Amish.
Swords and Amish, and you had a
machine shop.
Oh, like a machine shop. Okay.
Big machine shop.
So you were turning lathes and creating parts. And, I see.
So that's where I learned a machine will tell you what its limit is if belt starts squealing or whatever, that means it's time to stop. And if you use the machine what it's made for, it will never hurt you.
I see. Keep the oil changed.
Oh yeah,
Filter
oil
changed.
change. Oh yeah, you gotta do that. My
Yeah.
dad gets so mad at me. I'm very I have a work truck, like a 1500 Ram, and I don't do the best job at changing my oil. And I'll pull in at home. He's like, "What? Why does it smell like this?" I'm like, "What do you mean? You need new oil." I'm like, "Nah, you're good. We checked the oil." It's like, "I told you you need new oil."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, it was. I mean, I moved into your. Why did you rent out? Why did you rent the house out to me when I applied?
Trying to remember. I've went through quite a few people, and
I was the first X40 that you rented to.
okay, and that's been a while.
I was 18, so that was 6 years ago.
Yeah. Um, who was renting there? Oh, Vernon was renting there before you, the trucker.
Yeah.
Trucking, I think.
Yeah.
And then okay, so you rented the first. Yeah, and I have had nothing but ex-Fortune Trooper kids in there ever since.
Yeah, I know, because from my cousin moved in after me, and then one of our friends, and then some, I don't know who the other kid is.
So who were the two girls?
Anna was my cousin.
So she was your cousin. So they moved in, and then they moved out, and some of their friends or relatives moved in.
I think it was Eli moved in.
Okay, first. Was that Eli? Eli is back from Wyoming right now.
Is? Okay.
And so he's staying there again until he finds something else. But like I've been fairly flexible with the renters there, and they revolve, and I end up getting their phone numbers a month or two after they're in, and so I never have to advertise or get new people in.
Right.
And they all tell the new guys, "Hey, this is how you pay your rent. You just take it directly to the bank, deposit it." And I just kind of keep watching to see if the rent's there. But yeah, it's been really easy.
Good.
Easy. And
it's a nice, I think they like it. It's it isn't as expensive as most other places are.
Yeah.
When I moved in, you were still using the driveway beside it. When did you close up that driveway?
Oh, that thing has been a water problem.
Yeah.
You know? And so when the city put the new sewer in, I went ahead and told them I want a bunch of filter and I'm going to fill that in. And then I planted grass and tried to get some kind of planting in there to keep the water from just washing down.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was the first house I ever rented from anybody.
I see. Yeah.
It was 5 minutes from where I was working at, so it all worked out good.
But I remember back then I was like, I wonder if this guy's going to go back to the Fortune Trooper.
A lot of people I was very surprised. A lot of people were curious if I would.
Yeah.
But
I'm always curious on those young guys whether they're gonna, because it's a more polarizing life if you come from this Fortune Trooper homage to make that switch. Like you weren't used to hardly driving with a vehicle.
It was different for me. From 14 on, I did a lot of that. So, but like my cousins and that moved in, stuff like that, they wouldn't have been. Yeah. Which when she moved in, she left for a while already. There's a few young X40 kids that moved in with them or then with Eli. I'm not sure that I know it just left. Oh, and that would have been a big change for them. But like Eli, I mean, they didn't have everything, but he didn't live the traditional sorority life either.
I see.
So,
like I have some Fortune Trooper neighbors, kids that are 14 years old and they're on Facebook and we message back and forth. So, and 15, 14, 15, somewhere in there. And they have an interest in rodeoing and stuff like that. But they have to wait till they're 16 to really get out and do much. But they already have phones and they're already adapting to the more modern life.
That was the other thing that helped is from 16 on I had a smartphone. Okay. So I had seen videos and stuff like that of what the non-Amish life is like, where it wasn't that big of a change for me.
When I was 16 years old, the flip phones with cameras were just coming on the market.
Oh boy!
And I got one of the first ones, that came on the market. But the problem was I didn't have any friends to send pictures to because nobody else had a camera phone. And so it was almost like, why do I even have this thing? But it's just amazing where it's come to now in the last 10 years or 20 years. But the other thing that was intriguing was like these, the girls that lived there, coming from the Swartz and Trooper Amish, upbringing, and they were riding, Harley Davidson motorcycles or whatever. And I was like, wow, they don't take long to figure things out.
Anna would have left already 3 years prior to her moving in.
Okay.
At least 3 years.
So they didn't seem very old. I mean,
she's 21. She was 21 when she lived there.
Okay.
Yeah. She grew up just down the road from there.
Yeah.
She told you where she grew up at.
Yeah. Well, I kind of know, like her brother, or is it Anna?
Anna
and Linda. So Anna, Enos, yeah, they've trained my horses some and shoot my horses, and those are the ones that I'm friends with. And
gotcha.
Yeah.
Absolutely. See, I wouldn't find out anything from ex-sporty kids.
I see.
So once you quit giving them rides, then once you're no longer the local taxi, then you won't find anything out.
I see.
And with us living in Dundee, we don't go to parties, we don't do any of that stuff anymore. So we don't. Yeah.
Sometimes the parties are still there at my place a little bit, but
yeah, it was bad for a little bit there. I think Eli had gone to Wyoming to see his brother or something. And I was over at Mike's house, and it was bad for.
Yeah, I've had too many complaints at my Airbnb about all the noise, so I gotta. Well, we've been working on it to try to get them to go party somewhere else or whatever, not make as much noise late at night. But yeah, they're good kids and they know how to take care of themselves.
Oh yeah. Alrighty. Well, what's your social media? Where can they find you at?
Well, everything's Lux Creek Ranch or Lux Creek this or Lux Creek that, and
very simple. So just look up Lux Creek and Andrew will pop up. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.